So I'll do a quick plug. I'm in London on Saturday, if you're passing, in Hampstead at 2 p.m. I think Dario said last week that I've been doing recordings of my inane drivel, these spoken gems, for about 5 years now. Of course, I haven't been doing that, and it does seem that there's less and less to say. There's still a desire to share this, but the emptiness of speaking about it, the pointlessness, because I think, I mean, motivation's a funny thing. Whenever you're asked why you do something, you have to think and then come up with a reason, sort of make a reason up. And that's how this is. Speaking about this is no different. And I've been asked quite a bit lately, why do you continue to speak about this if you say it's pointless and there's nothing to get? And the only thing that comes up is love. It feels like love to speak about this. Knowing there is no love. There's only love. Someone asked me this week about treasure, that it was okay for me because I'd found the treasure, life's treasure. But there is no treasure to be found. There is only treasure. But the treasure can look like and feel like anything at all. Not a treasure that you would have imagined or could imagine being everything. anything. So it seems I haven't got much to say today.
Well, Kim Ho has his hand up.
That's no bad thing. I usually have too much to say. Kim Ho.
Hello, Tim.
Hello.
First of all, it was really nice to be with you in Copenhagen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and again, I will say this: it's such a warm way you speak of this. Yeah, because there is a comparing where, in a way, I can feel like a complete idiot when I ask something, and it's more inviting. Yeah, when you speak about it and when you give a feedback to whatever comes up. So it's yeah, it's really a warm and you say it's love when you think about, and it's also what comes to me. So it was just a comment to how I sense this when you.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Kimo, you can't get this wrong. You know, so there is that. I'm not interested in arguing with anyone about this at all. I used to be.
Oh, okay.
There was a time when I'd really wanted to be right. You know, especially well, that was my character anyway. That is my character, but that seems to have you could say that longing to be right seems to have died, because of course with life, right and wrong don't really exist unless I insist. Right and wrong are just my insistence that there must be some way to be right, and of course that's what I want. Yeah. And then as soon as I'm right, then I'm making most others wrong. And wonder why I feel there's this conflict, that life is conflicted. Well, it's that demand that I know the truth, and that I know reality, and I know what's right, and I know the right words, I know the right understanding. I mean, I was attracted to Buddhism once until there was 8 ways to be right, which covered just about every aspect of being human. And then I thought, wow, this is just so much more of the same shit that I've been doing for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's great freedom, I mean, there really isn't any, there's nothing in it for me not being right, but there is great freedom in the obvious realization that right and wrong are just human ideas that me really likes because I long to be right and I'm very afraid of being wrong. And if you think about most human conflict, that's the basis of it. So yeah. That's a long-winded way of saying, Chemo, you can ask any question. This can't be right or wrong, and it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You don't want to think, though, that just because you don't have a sense that you can get this right or wrong, that anyone else will agree with you. There's most people will be quite happy to tell you how wrong you are, no matter what you say. But of course, hi, who's that?
Tim. It's Jim. In couples therapy, they have this slogan or this line that goes, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?"
In couples therapy?
Yeah. In couples therapy, they have these slogans. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, to this, I was educating once, and there was a person who said, and I said the same, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I'm only happy when I'm right.
So true.
Yeah.
That's the majority. Yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of selves are only happy making the other wrong, aren't they? You know, a lot of selves happiness is in making the other wrong. That's almost as pleasurable as me being right. I don't need to be right as long as you're wrong. That's what makes me happy. One of the criticisms laid at the door of this kind of speaking about what we're calling non-duality is that it's amoral and it doesn't have any moral foundation, that it doesn't have any ethics, which is true. Ethics and morality seem to be what they are, which is just human beings wanting to be right, just as we've spoken about. But the wonder is that, like everything else that's claimed by self, that's claimed by me, morality, kindness, what we call morality, which is kindness, compassion, sociable, being caring, is all claimed that they're my traits. And without me, there would be uncaring, unkindness, no compassion, no love. I claim love as my love for you. And without me and you, there would be no love. Well, paradox of paradoxes. There's much more, the love is much more obvious without me and you. Turns out it was never my love. Just love. Probably need to stop talking about love now. Get in all kinds of trouble.
David's got his hand up.
David.
I'm going to do a.
Hello.
Am I? Oh,
You're on.
you can hear me.
Yeah, you're on.
No, I'm just going to. I might spoil things a wee bit, actually. The
Oh,
love thing.
I know you. I know
Well,
you.
you're not going to be happy with this. When I used to be in a band, we would sometimes amuse ourselves by substituting the word love in a song, famous songs and things, for the word vole. And
Sorry, which word again? Which?
love.
No, what's the substitute word?
Vole.
Vole, as in small rodent.
Yes, so you'd have long
Oh.
distance vole, that kind of stuff. And that takes the edge off it a bit, but maybe it's not a bad thing. Empty poems of this vole.
Oh, stop it.
I told you you wouldn't. But anyway, I've said it. But we laugh now and again,
Oh, yeah.
It's because you take it too seriously.
Oh, I'm not taking love seriously. Well, I don't want you to misunderstand. When I'm using the word, I'm not taking it seriously at all.
Well, if you need a reminder, just use vole now and again.
Yeah, vole.
Yeah.
Or any other word.
Or any other words, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, that's... No, love seems to be the bit of this that's most, what would you say, impossible to communicate maybe, or elusive, or I think we've talked about this before. The rest of it is pretty rational and straightforward, really.
Well, I think that's why there's this, it seems like I'm speaking about it more and more, and it feels like that's all that wants to be spoken about now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like I've done all the rational shit. I'm not in, no, it's not, it doesn't, it's not juicy enough.
Yeah, and it's not rocket science to say that there's no self. I mean, well, science would tell you that there's no self.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about, the aspect of this, you could say this message, science really advocates virtually most of it, if not all of it, apart from love.
Correct, I think.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yes.
But I'm not a scientist. I never have been. I'm not a scientist. I don't have... I'm not clever enough for that.
Yeah, but how clever do you have to be to go along with the notion that it's impossible for anything to have, this sounds a bit like Buddhism actually, but a kind of independent, separate nature is just not possible.
No.
Scientifically.
No. I mean, I'm happy to say that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it doesn't get you very, well, nothing gets you very far, I suppose, and you can talk about it endlessly. But it does seem like a bit of a waste of time, actually.
This often does feel like a waste of time, David.
Yeah.
But then it's no more a waste of time than anything else. And you could call this some kind of strange perversion that I enjoy speaking about it, and you lot like listening to it. And this is no more significant than, being a vole hunter I don't know, you know, a vole fancier, a vole tickler. I'm just using the vole analogy till it's dead. I'm trying to
falling in love with vole is falling for make-believe.
But
yeah,
because I don't think this is important to speak about this. Honestly, it's just, it's hard to pin down the motivation, but the best I've got is it feels like love to do that, and it feels compassionate, and it feels, and it's enjoyable, and lovely people. Not all lovely people come to non-duality meetings, but mostly they do. I've met some fucking weirdos. No offense, don't take any. But the majority of people who come to non-duality, you know, however circuitous their route to get there, they end up being the lovely ones. So, you know, I'm full of compliments for all of you.
Mm.
It's true, you know, that you have to have there is no journey, but in the story, you've all had long journeys. You're covered in scars, you're blooded, aren't you? You're battle weary. It's true. Nearly everyone I've ever met at non-duality meetings, they're all veterans, no matter what their age. I do mean that, you know, because it's tough being me. And that's the motivation to speak about this.
But it does tend to sound, so I'm sorry. Yesterday, I was in Lidl's, no, Aldi's.
I didn't take you as a little. I thought you were more Waitrose, really. There we go.
I went back. No,
little do I know of your shopping.
I shop around, but and I'm as obsessed with this thing as anybody else. It's ridiculous, actually. But there was a woman in front, an old woman in front of me in the queue, and she had a very humble collection of groceries there, and we stood, and she picked up this tiny little turnip, and she turned around to me, she says, "I'm going to smuggle this into my husband's soup tonight. He doesn't like it, but he's going to," and you know, and I found myself engaging. I said, "My wife does that with celery, blah, blah." And you know, I came out of the supermarket and I cried.
Oh, how lovely.
Now, what a soppy get.
No, how lovely that it was such a soppy gift.
So real, you know. And so it was vole of the first order, I thought.
There we are. Unconditional vole.
Anyway. But you know, it's around you all day, all the time, really. Yeah. You know, it's little things, silly little things. Yeah. And we built this up into this grand project and scheme. But really, it's the smuggled turnip into the soup at the end of the day.
There we go. Good title for a book, The Smuggled Turnip. Oh, I know. Yeah, like a children's book, The Smuggled Turnip and the Vole.
This is Alan Bennett. Great. Thank you very much, Tim.
Oh, thank you, David.
Thanks.
No, it's lovely.
So that Voley man, Michael Markham, has got his hand up.
Voley man. Oh, I love the turnip story. That's
beautiful, isn't it?
Truly. Those little vignettes, those little slices of life that is given to us throughout the day, if we're open to them, I suppose. I don't know. Here, love is seen as just another label of even one of the last handholds. If the self doesn't exist, and if things, separate existential entities, don't exist, love would have to fall among those labeled objects. Here, it's experienced as this simple, sublime joy of just being, just it's a nothingness that is constantly alert to the objectified perspective that was, I think, is the jewel of manifestation, of the jewel of the universe, this ability to be aware that we're aware and share the joy of being. I don't see it as love. It feels more empty.
Always empty.
Always empty, without labels.
I mean, I could easily substitute love for emptiness.
But why even that? Why even emptiness?
Why not?
Well,
Well, the reason I'd say why emptiness is because the emptiness is palpable.
but as soon as we label it, it becomes
well, the thing, I'm a non-duality speaker, Michael. Shit, I've got to use some label. Cut me some slack. I mean, I'm going to start using vole and turnip. Okay, so instead of emptiness, I'm going to say small turnip.
Small turnips.
Yeah, and unconditional vole.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and really that wouldn't matter because there isn't a thing called emptiness and there isn't a thing called love.
Yeah.
That's really very obvious. I'm not interested in arguing that there is or there isn't. It's obvious that there isn't really, and yet I haven't got any better words. I tend to say nothing a lot, and so it's nothing that is love. So love is nothing. Well, that's not. You don't get any closer to love, regardless of the words. But so you use the phrase sublime joy. I've heard you say that a lot. And you see, for me, the most obvious, you could say manifestation, the most obvious feeling that is love is sadness. Grief.
Is what? I'm sorry.
Sadness. Sadness, grief, loss feels the most like love. So when I'm talking about love, a lot of the time, I'm talking about the felt experience of, and I could say that it never leaves, it's always here, that the fact that this is always lost. So, I mean, everyone loves to hear non-dual speakers talk about the freshness, the newness. This is ever fresh, ever new. Think of Sailor Bob. He always said it, and I loved it, and I went, yeah, that's what I want. I want always fresh, like fresh vegetables. You want your fresh little turnip. You don't want a wizened little old turnip. But then the thing that what my experience, the experience here is that everything is always being lost. So the being, that sublime joy of being, whatever is being is always passing away. As it's found with no space between. So the appearance, the freshness, the newness, birth, you could say, the birth of this and the death of this is always, there's not, and for me, that's the greatest love. That's why I feel I can use the word love quite happily, freely, knowing that it's not. but then there is nothing that is. Because whatever words we use, the thingness is always not. So then liberated, I feel free to use any words. There are still words that I like and words that I dislike, but I don't feel that they're closer or more accurate, which is what I was always trying to do, get the correct words. If I get the correct words, then I'll have it. But of course, what we're speaking of, really, I mean, the words are it too, but there is no matter how poetic, no matter how what great clarity you feel certain human beings have in speaking about life, it's no closer. Or no, and it's no further away. And that feels like love or vol. I'm only going to do that this meeting, though. I'm not going to do that. Don't worry that I'm going to use the word vol continuously from now on.
Here it feels like drifting along in a unnamed emotional reaction within a objectifying brain. It's kind of like both worlds, put in two worlds, the drifting along with this unnamed thing that, oh God, I can't, without naming anything, without saying love or happiness or sadness, just this symphony of electrochemical reactions in this beautiful human brain that I think it boils down to the brain becoming fascinated with its own self, falling in love with its own incredible complexity. And to put a label on that, from my standpoint, I love the way you express. That's why I come.
I love it that you come, Michael.
Thank you, Tim.
I do, yeah, it's lovely. And I know I don't speak of the brain because here I have no sense of brainness at all. It's just a word. It never comes up. I genuinely, if you ask me, have I got a brain? I haven't got a clue. How would I know? How would I know?
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
Natalie has a hand up.
Natalie.
Hi there.
Hi there.
I was thinking about, why did I come to this meeting? Like, it's pointless. But I thought about it. I like to hear these stories, these animal stories people tell. Like they want to be like a cat, or maybe a bird just flying away from a big mess at their house, or, something like that. People have these feelings that if they were an animal, maybe their life would be better. Yeah. So I think that's always kind of fun to hear about, I mean, sometimes I thought, when I was thinking at that point, I would like to be a rooster, and how they just sit out on a roof and just crow at the crack of dawn, and sometimes even earlier. And then you're just like, shut up. And the rooster doesn't care.
Natalie, if you're going to choose a bird to fantasize that you could do better than rooster, surely. I'm thinking
I feel like I'm a rooster. I feel like I just want to be like, kids, just wake up. It's time to get up. You have to go to school.
You just like shouting at the kids.
Yes. Well, I was a teacher as well. I was. And yeah, I do. I enjoy shouting at kids. Yeah. But, I mean, it's so fun because it's all story. If I tell you this big miraculous story of how I came to non-duality, and I was a Christian and blah, blah, blah. And then I spiritual seeking, blah, blah, blah. And then I found non-duality, blah, blah, blah. It's still, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's just for how it is here. That's all I'm trying to, and I think that's all, anything that is happening now is just an expression of how it is here, because that's all there is. And it's almost like in all readiness to everything. Just everything's in all readiness to it, because I don't even know if that's a word, but that word fits for how it feels here.
Yeah.
And I can think, does it resonate? Does it resonate with anyone? Do they feel the same way I do? Am I right? Is it wrong? Who cares? Like, really, it doesn't matter. It's this, it is you. It's all of it. It's the beauty of it. It's the stories about being a rooster, and then, not worrying if your kids are yelling at you, because you'll just fly away. I think they fly.
Yeah, it's all of it. All of it.
It's just beautiful, you know, and it's ugly too. I mean,
Yeah.
It is, but there's beauty in the ugliness, you know, in a way. I mean, some things are just super ugly, but whatever.
Well, yeah, just as it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I enjoy this.
All of it, including your rooster fantasy, which I do.
That's right.
Think, you know, you could improve your life significantly if you just improved on that fantasy, because I don't think it's up to scratch.
Right. I need to get it together. I don't know when. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think, like, right, tiger.
Yeah.
Eagle.
Oh, yeah.
Bald.
That's the American bird. I think I could be a bald eagle. Yeah. Fly off into the sun.
Something to small turnip.
Yeah, a small turnip. I could just fit in someone's purse and be put into a stew, and then everyone would eat me and spit me out. No, I don't know. I just love it. And, you know, whether someone's listening or hearing me, or they've never truly heard me, or they have, or they haven't, it's just, I don't know. It's the alreadiness of it. It's just the alreadiness of everything just being as it is. And then if there's layers on it, oh, well, you know.
Yeah, there really aren't any layers.
No, the layers are just layers.
We have to make.
It's like a sandwich. It's like a sandwich, you know.
No, life's not a sandwich. There's nothing in the middle.
I know. There is no middle. There's no bread. There's nothing.
There's no filling.
No.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thanks.
Well, I'll do another little plug while there's a pause. I've got my flights to Asheville booked, so I will be in Asheville for my birthday on the 28th of April, 29th and 30th of April in Asheville, North Carolina, for a weekend. And that's all up on the website. If you're interested, go and have a look. And yeah. And I've also booked my flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Sacramento. So I will be going to California in the first 2 weeks of May. There aren't any meetings booked yet, but I'm hoping that there will be. So I should be excited. I don't know why I'm not. Sounds, yeah, come on, Tim, get excited.
And Hampstead on Saturday.
Hampstead on Saturday, yeah, that's good.
Ananda has their hand up.
Ananda.
Hi, Tim, can you understand me well?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. I wanted to tell something, or what I hear from all of the speakers I know so far, and I have listened to all of them for 1.5 years now.
Right.
Is that to me it seems a little bit of mystification. They all say the self comes out of nowhere, kind of, or suddenly it's there as a 1.5-year-old child or 2-year-old child. And then I also heard from you, then immediately the whole knowing stuff starts, you know, I want to know more. And it immediately becomes this serious thing. And to me, it seems obvious that it starts as a imitation game, because as a human, as a small baby, you cannot but imitate whatever happens around you. And so you start imitating what happens around you, which is this game of I am someone, you are someone.
Yeah.
and only through this very, very long time and of constantly repeating this, it becomes a serious thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have children, but I saw it once in a girl, the change from this baby to this small child, you know, from this no self-consciousness to suddenly this, I am somebody, wow.
Mm-hmm.
This idea as a game, just as a game. And let me go on a little bit because I want to make a point. When after I listened to for 9 months to all you guys, you know, and I love you especially, I got all the concepts down, and actually everything was clear.
Yeah.
Except for one thing was not clear. Is there now someone or is there not? I mean, you all say there is no one, so maybe it's true. Maybe there is no one, even if I feel like someone. Anyway, I got all the concepts on, and then I thought to myself, why do I listen to other speakers? If I have all the concepts, I can make a video for myself.
True.
And I did, and did make 3 or 4 videos for myself. And I listened to them, and I found them just as convincing as anyone.
Well, welcome to my world. I mean, yeah, today there looks like there's some.
Now let me make my point. Wouldn't it be just easy for all the seekers who are like I was also, and I'm still totally drawn to this thing, you know, like you cannot but listen to this. You cannot listen to anything else anymore. But isn't for those who take it too serious, kind of to get out of this in a playful way, you know, like just anyway it's happening. Everybody who's listened to this is playfully entertaining this thought, maybe there is no one, maybe I'm not someone. And kind of fake it till you make it. I mean, why not? Well, if it's the truth to say, or if it's what's the case.
Yeah.
What's the problem about faking it till you make it?
Well, I mean, what would faking it look like, Ananda? What do you think faking it would?
Like this.
Are you?
I am faking it, and I'm making it at the same moment.
The thing is, Ananda,
because it is the case, and if I'm faking it, I'm still making it.
You're not. The thing is, you're really not faking it because there isn't anything to fake. I mean,
exactly. That's my word. That's your word. Yeah, exactly.
Well, there we go. Well, I really hope that you enjoy listening to your videos. I'm sure. I'm sure you're getting a lot out of them.
Actually, during making them, it's more fun. I hardly listen to any of them. And I don't make any videos anymore because it takes too much space of my mobile phone. So I just record my talks. But it's more in the talking. It's just that it's just a therapy, you know. You cannot talk to anybody. I try to figure out, to find a partner. And you see, let's say there are 2,000 people who get this. I have a chance of 1 in 400 million to find a partner.
Yeah, it's not easy.
A total job, you know.
Yeah.
So I do.
If you're looking for
not be totally alone, I talk to my phone.
You need to widen the field. Don't narrow the field to non-duality, you know, addicts who like your video, and especially not the ones who just like your videos, Ananda, because that's going to be a tiny, tiny number. As I found that.
I don't publish them. I don't.
Well, thanks for that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, fake it till you make it. There's no faking it or making it. So yeah, why not?
Exactly. It's the same. It doesn't even matter, even if I would go on a huge ego trip with this.
Not at all.
It's still this. So but only if you take it serious, then it seems to be not there, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. If you can't find the perfectly resonant speaker, because, you know, what you've probably found so far is, yeah, I like him. I like that when he says that. But a lot of the time, I don't like a lot of the shit he comes out with. And she's really good. I love her, you know, that I get a really lovely feeling when I'm listening to her. And he's good. He's got great clarity, but I'm really not feeling it. Oh, make your own. You're going to resonate more with you than you are with anyone else. And Anders got a good point. Listen to your own videos.
Can I ask you something else?
Yeah, go on then.
About you have children.
Yeah.
Can you report anything how it started with them? Because this is all in my head, maybe just my imagination.
Yeah. I've spoken about it before, and yeah, that
I listened to all your videos twice, and I didn't find it yet. But can you report how it start? Does it start suddenly? Did you
No, it doesn't start suddenly. No, because there isn't a self. It's, I mean, the self is
just a game.
Who knows? Yeah, but around gradually from the age of 1 to 2, gradually, imperceptibly, there will be moments, and there are moments that I could talk about with my son Harry, who's he's just coming up to 4. So 2 years ago, when he first started, I mean, it self appears with language. There's no doubt about that. The sense of me comes with speaking about me. I learn me. I learn my name. I respond to my name as a human being. A human being responds to their name. I name myself. I know my name. And there is something that happens that makes this illusory, concrete sense of being inside.
What this makes is, in my opinion, this is the constant repetition from morning till evening.
Oh, it's very reinforced by parents. Parents love this. One of the things that parents get most joy out of is saying, oh, look, he's now like a real little person.
Yeah, and
you hear it all the time. You know, he was okay as a baby. Women generally like babies. This is a very masculine thing, I have to say. Men will only start tolerating children. I'm probably the exception because I like babies before they speak, usually. But most men love it when, oh, he's a proper little person now. I can have a conversation with him, which means that he has got a formed sense of self, that I can talk about what he's doing, and he can start to take responsibility for what he's doing. And he can start to tell you that you need to take responsibility for what you're doing. And you can have normal conversations with him as another self. And no, I don't think, it's not something that appears one day and then it's fully formed. Of course, a 2-year-old, the way I would describe it is like a 2-year-old has a really tiny embryonic sense of self. So most of the time there is no sense of self. And then in speaking, self appears.
It becomes stronger and stronger by this repetition. And
because layer upon layer. So the sense of self is like layered.
Yeah, and there's no contradiction between the speaker who say it's just a thought, and those who say it's a bodily felt sense of separation, because by this repetition, it gets kind of, each time it gets connected with this body. And of course, after a while, at least latest in the puberty or some decades later, it's a concrete felt sense of bodies.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from nowhere. And in my opinion, it's also not necessarily just going away by itself.
No, there's nothing to go away.
Exactly. Nothing happens, and Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Anand. No, self isn't something that just appears fully formed. I mean, that's not news to anyone, is it? I've told this story before. I loved it when Harry, because Harry never said the word I until he was about 3.5. He always said my, which you can't get more descriptive of the sense of self than that. So he said, my do that, my like that. No, my no like carrots. My love chocolate. My love Peppa Pig. Mine no like it when daddy shouts. That kind of thing. My, I, me. And then, of course, it's really common for toddlers to refer to themselves in the third person by their name. That's quite common as well. So they've learned their name is the name for themselves and they call themselves by their name.
Hi, Tim.
Jim.
Hey, do you mind if I share something here? I
Sure.
did a lot of work. I did a lot of work in therapy, and in therapy, I was taught to re-examine my life. So I went way back to roughly around 4 or 5 years old. But I wasn't able to go deeper than that. But then it seems like in non-duality, it's revealing something for me that, like, say, roughly around age. Okay, I think my very first sense of self-consciousness was was a result of pain, like stubbing, like hurting my body, and then it gradually began to emerge. It got bigger and bigger as things got more intense. Like, say, my parents were a little bit brutal. Okay,
Right.
so I think my next level of self-consciousness began to emerge when people began hurting me, like slapping me, hitting me, scolding me. And it just gradually, it just evolved slowly. But I really did deeply love my parents and my older brother up till around roughly about age 5. And then their brutality became so intense. And I don't want to go into the entire story of their brutality, but it was almost as if I was forced by circumstances to become self-conscious. Okay.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of wonderful that being given the opportunity here in non-duality to lose that, to drop that, like to let go of that self-consciousness. But it was always revolving around some type of pain,
Yeah.
whether it was physical pain or emotional pain, whether it was like hurt or promises, like how you can get really hurt when you can't get what you want.
Yeah.
And it's in a way, it's kind of strange to look at it like that, because I could see that it was inevitable becoming self-conscious, especially when I became at around 5. I became very, very frightened of my parents. Up to that point, I loved them. I just loved them deeply, but they did things that were absolutely terrifying. So I've spent most of my life in various stages of fear. Okay,
Yeah.
Fear of humiliation, fear of getting hurt, fear of failing.
Of
And
course,
it's amazing when you think about it. It's like once this self is lost, there goes the fear, there goes the humiliation, there goes the. I wish I could have had that my whole life, but it just seems like it was absolutely inevitable that self-consciousness began for, I'm certain of it, that began with me with some form of pain, whether it was pain in the body or and it just slowly evolved into, I guess fear would be the most extreme level.
Yeah.
And
we all, I mean,
I'm just rattling.
No, everyone's childhood would have stories. I mean, it sounds like yours was particularly painful, but we're talking about the pain of separation, and that is the pain that we're speaking of. The pain, you called it self-consciousness.
Well, I felt
it's the same thing.
I can still remember even now, because I did a lot of work on that, but I can remember when I felt really, really connected to, well, my brother was about a year older than me, and he was out to get me from the get-go, because when I arrived, I ruined his life, okay? But to make a long story short, I felt really connected to all of them up to a certain point, and it was as if one day suddenly, wham, I could see that they were not only strangers and separate, but dangerous, very, very dangerous strangers. They weren't constantly dangerous, but it was a lot of that was in our life, my life at least.
Yeah.
It would have been okay if they had been, let's say, friendly strangers, but they were dangerous strangers.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous.
Thanks, Jim.
I mean, I would have stayed absolutely totally connected to my parents and my brother, like let's say Siamese twins, but they kicked me out. Okay, I don't think they did it deliberately. It was just one of those things. But they kicked me out, and once they kicked me out, I was gone. It was never possible to reconnect with them on any level whatsoever. Even in therapy, when therapy came, I tried during those days to reconnect with people. But man, the connection was totally broken.
Yeah.
It really hurts talking about this stuff. I'm sorry I brought it up.
You're all right, Jim. Everyone will know that feeling. There's nothing more painful than those you love causing you pain, however.
And thanks to therapy, I understand that they had a past. They were kind of victims of their own story too. So
of course they were.
It was as if we were all caught in this inevitable drama together.
Wow.
I mean, I could spend the rest of the day explaining their story, but it's kind of weird to think about, like, what happened to them? Well, it's the same thing that happened to me. I don't have children, so I wasn't able to pass my family stuff on, but their family stuff was passed right on to me and my siblings. And it's really crazy to think about it like that. It's inevitable.
Yeah, kind of.
And then here comes non-duality offering some kind of what I would consider a valuable solution.
Well, it really isn't a solution, Jim. I'm not selling this as a solution.
Well, I use it as a solution.
It's really not offering anything. You know, that maybe it sounds as though it is, but I can't emphasize enough that I'm not offering anything. There is only what there is. There's nothing on offer here. What's on offer is what already is the case. That's all there is. So to offer anything else would just be false. This is not a solution, not an answer. This is not a panacea. This is not. I mean, just very directly, the only thing that's being said here is there is what there is. And it's also saying what there is what there isn't. So even what there is, you don't really get. It's not even offering what there is. This is the shittest offer of all time. I'm offering what there is, and I'm suggesting what there is also isn't. So you don't even get that. And that's all there is.
Well, for me, the magic of non-duality is in the word happening or happens.
Yeah.
What happened in the past is what happened. What's happening right at this moment as these lips move is what's happening. It's not saying it's right or wrong, good or bad. It's just saying it's happening. And for me, that's the magic of non-duality. There's other things about non-duality that's a big magic for me, but to me, that's the main thing. It's just happening. It just what went on in my family with my parents and myself happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Therapy happened. Okay? Spirituality happened. And I really love that idea, even though for me at this moment it's just an idea. Things happen because I still have a part that says, "Oh, I hope it's going to happen better or different."
Well, you see,
there's
the good news. So Jim likes the good news of non-duality, which is that there's only what's happening. Jim doesn't like the bad news, which is the same as the good news, is nothing's going to happen, Jim.
Well, the bad news is things happen. Shit happens. You know, you've heard that line, shit happens. I would prefer love happens. And let's bypass the ugly stuff.
That's the other thing about non-duality. The shit is the love.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's shit, isn't it? No one wants to hear that. So there's shit happening. Yeah, that's love happening as shit happening. So when I say about love, I mean, I do mean all of it. And so, of course, that's not what self ever thinks of as love. There's no exclusion. All of it. Aye. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. One last plug to say I'm in London on Saturday. If you're anywhere. If you've never been to London and you've never been to Hampstead is, I mean, I'm trying to sell it now. Hampstead is the most beautiful part of London, in my opinion. It's like a quintessential English market town, only 10 minutes from the City of London. Just beautiful.
I'll be there.
Oh, lovely. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks,
Tim.
Darren.
Thanks, Tim.
And yeah, if you'd like, I've got a bit of a confession. I'll put this on the recording because I've had a number of complaints about the emailing of invitations. Now, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm not very technical. I may have to get Darren on it. But some people have fallen off the email list without me taking them off. Some people I've taken off and then they've reappeared. Now, I don't know how does technology work? I haven't. It's you know, when you say this is all mystery, well, it is. And then there's a mystery laid on top of that, which is technology. I've had a lot of people saying, I've asked you to put me on the list. You haven't put me on the list. I have put them on the list and then they're not on the list. I've had people saying, I don't want to be on the list. I'm fed up with your shit. Take me off the list. I take them off the list. They're still on the fucking list. I don't know what's going on. It's driving me nuts. I was in tears yesterday. I had 2 or 3 emails saying, what's going on with the list? I go, I don't fucking know what's going on with the list. Which is true. I don't know what's going on. So I'll try and sort that out. Oh yeah, I know what I was going to say. If you'd like to be on the email list, just email me and I'll try and put you on. That's what I was going to say. Until I went into a rant.
Jill's asking in the chat as well, are you in London in February? I saw, have you got one booked for February?
Yeah, it is. Come on. If someone's asking, then I should know. It might be. February the 18th.
Okay. There we go.
February the 18th. Yeah. I have booked, yeah, so it's the 3rd Saturday of each month, January, February, March, April in London. I've got to. Oh, and I am booked in to go to, oh, I haven't got the dates in front of me. If you look on the website, I'm going to Copenhagen in October to see Caleb. And chemo if he's coming.
Exactly.
And Marcus.
Yeah. Nice to see you, Caleb.
All right. Thanks very much for coming, everyone. Lovely to see you all. Have a nice evening.
Cheers.
Thanks, Tim.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks a lot.
I vol you.
TTFN. TTFN.
Are you going to be there next week?
Oh, I'm such a technophobe.
Can't you figure out? Shall I do it?
Where's the recording?